Hello and welcome to section 3 of unit 12. So far we talked about central angles in section 1, inscribed angles in section 2, and now in section 3 we're going to start talking about area of circles and mainly area of parts of a circle. So you guys have found the area of circles before in the past, so hopefully you remember how to do that. Here's the little formula for it. A equals pi r squared. So remember r just means radius. So radius is the distance from the middle of the circle out to the edge. So in example 1, if I was trying to find the radius, or excuse me, if I was trying to find the area of this little, I don't even know what this is, thermometer? No, I don't know, whatever this circle is. If I was trying to find the area of it, and the radius is 2.5 centimeters, or write up my little formula here. The radius is 2.5, I can substitute 2.5 in for r. And then just solve it from there. So remember, exponents come first, so 2.5 times 2.5 would be 6.25. So the area of this circle would be 6.25 pi. And area is always square units, so square centimeters. So I'm usually okay, unless I say write it as a decimal, I'm usually okay if you just leave it in terms of pi like this. So when I say leave it in terms of pi, I just mean you can do 6.5 times pi instead of actually putting that into your calculator. On the next example, if I knew the area of a circle and I wanted to find the diameter, the radius, kind of do the same thing, it's just a little bit backwards. So remember, it's still area equals pi r squared. But this time we know the area, so instead of A, I'm going to write 113.1 equals pi r squared. So divide both sides by pi. Get out my calculator here. So what was it? 113.1 divided by pi. Can't find the pi button. There it is. So that would be 36. So then we want to get r by itself. So take the square root of both sides. So r is going to equal, just 6. It could be plus or minus 6, but you can't have a negative radius, so we're just going to take the positive. So the radius is 6, but we're trying to find the diameter. So that means the diameter has to be 12. Because remember, diameter goes from one end of the circle through the middle all the way to the other end. All right, so that was review. So the rest of the section is the important part. So we're going to have to find the area of part of a circle. So for example, how would we find the area of just this part of the circle? I don't want the whole area, just a little part of it. So here's a little formula. And then the same thing, here's an example. I'm not going to go over those. You can pause the video and look at them if you want, but we're going to do an example just like those. So in example 3, we got to find that area of circle D. So that'd be this circle down here. Find the area formed by the sector, this sector right here, FDE, and then the area of the other sector. So first thing we're going to do is find the area of the whole thing. So the radius, as you can see, is 14 feet. So pi r squared. So if the r is 14, I'm going to have pi times 14 squared. 14 squared is going to be 196. So the area of the entire thing is 196 pi. Square feet. And then in gray, I'll do the area of this sector right here. Well, actually, let's use red. So that central angle before I drew all over it is 120 degrees, which tells me that this arc is 120 degrees. So now if I just want to find the area of that, I do something really similar to what we just did. So it's still going to be pi r squared in there, but to take into account that we're only using 120 degrees out of the 360, I'm going to write a little fraction. So 120 divided by 360. So that tells me that I only want the area of 120 degrees out of the full 360. If you wanted to reduce this fraction, you could. You don't have to, but I'm going to. So that reduces to 1/3. The radius is still the same, so we still have pi times 14 squared. So 1/3 times pi times 196. And then 3 does not go evenly into 196. So I'll just leave it as a fraction, 196 divided by 3 times pi square feet. So if you wanted to, you could multiply this out in your calculator and get the decimal, but try to save some time and not do that. So now if I wanted to find the rest of the circle, so this black part that I'm going to shade in here, there's a couple different ways we could do it. We could just subtract the full area minus this one, or I know that this part of the circle would have to be 240 degrees if the red part's 120. So I could do 240 divided by 360 times pi times 14 squared. So this is the 2/3. 14 squared is 196. And then if you multiply 2/3 times 196, let's see, that would be 392 divided by 3 times pi square feet. So I'll do example 4 and then we'll stop after that. But the main thing here, the only new thing really, is that little thing. So however many degrees of the circle you're trying to find the area of that arc there, make sure you write that divided by 360 and then you can do the pi r squared. Because you need to take into account that you're only finding the area of part of the circle. So in example 4, if I just wanted to find this shaded area, so notice that this tells us it's a 90-degree angle, so this arc would be 90 degrees. The radius is still 14. So if I found the area of the entire shaded, like 1/4 of the circle right here, I would have area equals 90, since I'm finding 90 degrees out of 360, times pi times 14 squared. 90 divided by 360 reduces to 1/4. And then 14 squared is 196 again. So 1/4 times 96 would be 49. So 49 pi square feet. Oops. But remember, they didn't ask us to find this full green shaded area, just the black part. So if I only want to find the black part that's shaded, if I take out this triangle that we just found, that will leave only the black shaded part. So this is 14, this is also 14 because each one of these is a radius. So a radius in the same circle is always going to be the same no matter where it's going. So it's just a triangle. So to find the area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So that would be 98. So if I take 49 pi, let's use a different color. And then I subtract 98. That will tell me what the area of the black shaded region is. So if you want to just leave it like this and then you can put square feet, that's fine. If you want to do 49 pi in your calculator minus 98 and get the decimal, that would also be fine. Let's see, if I do that, I would get about 55.94. So either one of these would be an acceptable answer. And that's going to be it for the notes.